Okay, let's dig into this. Something pretty major just happened in Singapore's leadership structure. The kind of shakeup we haven't seen in, what, 40 years?
That's right.
We're talking about this big cabinet reshuffle, and the headline really is the move to just one deputy prime minister.
Yeah, it's a really significant adjustment under the new Prime Minister Lawrence Wong. And looking through the material you send over, the sources, it definitely points to a specific direction they're aiming for.
Exactly. And that's why we're doing this. You've given us this, pile of sources, articles, some research, your notes, and our mission here for this deep dive is really to sift through it all. We want to pull out the most crucial insights for you, the listener, to understand, the power shifts, what signals are being sent politically,
Right.
and what this, frankly, unprecedented setup might mean for Singapore down the road.
Yeah.
What's the real message here about where the country's headed?
Okay, so jumping into the material, the big announcement came on May 21st. PM Wong introduced his new cabinet, and it's clearly built around, let's say, a more focused leadership core. The most striking part, like you said, is Gon Kim Young stepping up as the sole deputy prime minister.
And then complementing him, the sources really highlight three other key figures. They've been made coordinating ministers, right? Each sort of anchoring a major national area.
Exactly.
Who are these players, based on what we've read?
Okay, so first, there's Kay Shinmugam. He's now coordinating minister for national security.
Okay.
And what's quite interesting here, based on the notes, is how his roles are being consolidated. He keeps his job as Minister for Home Affairs, but he's actually stepping down as Minister for Law.
That feels like a very deliberate move, doesn't it? To focus his, considerable experience.
It does seem that way.
Especially when, the sources keep mentioning the complex world Singapore's operating in. You've got cybersecurity threats, regional instability concerns, counterterrorism.
All of that, yes.
So putting a really seasoned person in a dedicated coordinating role for national security right at the top level, that seems highly intentional.
Absolutely. It sort of underlines just how critical that whole area is right now. So moving from security, another key pillar highlighted is public services.
Okay.
And here, Chan Shan Sing takes on a newly created role, coordinating minister for public services.
A newly created role. So this isn't just a name change. Materials suggest it's more structural, like moving beyond just, say, building things.
Yeah, beyond just infrastructure.
To a wider focus on making public services actually, easier to use, more joined up for citizens.
Precisely. It signals a real focus on the delivery, the actual experience of using public services, which, is pretty crucial as people's needs and expectations change.
Right.
And on top of that, he's also holding the defense portfolio.
Wow. Okay. So coordinating Minister for Public Services and Minister for Defense.
Yes. It's a significant dual responsibility. It seems to reflect, how important both internal government machinery and external readiness are seen to be.
Right. Managing both how the government runs day to day and the country's defense. Okay. And the third coordinating minister.
That would be Ong Ye Kung. He steps into the coordinating minister for social policies role.
Ah, a position that was vacant before, wasn't it?
That's right. He stays on as Minister for Health, but this added coordinating role, sources frame it as giving him a mandate to lead some major reforms in social support.
Which, as the material points out, is really vital right now, given all the pressures, cost of living going up, supporting an aging population.
Oh, definitely.
And just the growing need for, solid safety nets. It feels like a portfolio aimed squarely at people's immediate concerns.
It really does. Now, what the sources really emphasize is that DPM Gen Kim Young, plus these three coordinating ministers, Shanmugam, Chan, and Ong, they form what PM Wong himself has apparently called his core team.
His core team, okay.
Yeah, and this team isn't just like administrative supervisors. They're positioned to really anchor Singapore's main governance pillars. The economy, obviously, national security, public service delivery, and social policy.
Okay, so we've got the who and the what, the roles. But the really big question is the why. Especially why shift to just one DPM? The dual DPM structure was pretty standard in past transitions, right?
It was, yes.
So what do the sources say is PM Wong's thinking behind this particular team structure?
Well, the explanation given in the material seems pretty direct. PM Wong apparently sees this leaner four-person senior team as allowing for more agility.
Agility. Okay.
Yeah, and clarity in making decisions. It's also being presented as a kind of mentorship model. These experienced ministers guiding the younger members of the cabinet.
And it also seems to signal something maybe different about leadership itself, like shifting the focus away from identifying maybe one clear successor right now.
Interesting point.
And emphasizing more of a collective team approach at the very top for the current challenges.
That's definitely a key interpretation you can draw from the material. It talks about the structure reflecting collective leadership.
Right.
Deliberately moving away, perhaps, from the symbolism of having two DPMs, which in the past might have been seen as more directly linked to a succession path. Even the arrangements for who takes charge temporarily, if PM Wong or DPM Gan are away, seem to reflect this. One of the coordinating ministers would step in as acting PM.
So it maintains continuity without necessarily concentrating that temporary power or the symbolism of it in just one designated successor figure at that moment.
Exactly. It reinforces the team idea.
It really makes you think about the deliberate design here, not just who got which portfolio, but how that top leadership layer is fundamentally put together.
Precisely. It's sending a clear message, it seems, about how this administration plans to operate and tackle the complex stuff ahead.
Okay, so let's try and pull this together then. Based on everything in the sources you've provided, we've unpacked this, well, pretty significant shift in Singapore's leadership. The core pieces are clear.
Yeah.
You've got the move to a single deputy prime minister, Gan Kim Yong.
Right.
And he's backed by this powerful trio of coordinating ministers. Kay Shanmugam handling national security. Chan Chun Sing looking after public services and defense.
Correct.
And Ang Ye Kung overseeing social policies.
And these four, together, they are explicitly called PM Wong's core team.
The core team.
Yeah, designed, as we discussed, to anchor those vital governance areas, security, public services, social policy, and, implicitly, the whole economic strategy that supports everything else.
And the reasons given for this setup, the stated rationale, it's all about being more agile, clearer decision-making.
Mentorship, too.
Mentorship, right? And fostering that sense of collective leadership right at the summit.
And connecting this back to why you, the listener, should care what the sources really link this specific structure to tackling the big challenges Singapore is facing right now.
Such as?
Well, navigating that tricky geopolitical environment we mentioned, making public services better and easier to access, dealing with the economic squeeze from rising costs, and, of course, supporting a population that's aging quite rapidly.
So, thinking about this streamlined, team-focused approach, especially compared to how things were done before, here's maybe a final thought for you to ponder, something that emerges from looking closely at the source material.
Okay.
Given those specific areas handed to the coordinating ministers, national security, public services plus defense, and social policies, and this strong emphasis on a core team instead of the old dual DPM model, what does this particular arrangement perhaps suggest about what the new leadership sees as the absolute most pressing, most urgent priorities for Singapore right now?
That's a great question to leave people with.
And maybe, how might this very team-based way of operating shape the country's response to those priorities differently compared to the leadership models of the past?